Well, gosh, we're talking about return on marketing investment. And Barbara, like me, you're at an earlier stage company, and you shared that you've been quite focused on cost of acquisition. So something often unique to VC or pre-IPO companies. What are some of your main challenges toward accurately tracking and calculating cost of acquisition or CAC, and applying attribution to that?
Yeah, I really like CAC in a lot of ways because it simplifies this whole sales marketing divide. It really is a fully costed cost of acquisition. So, your media costs, your manpower costs, everything gets funneled into that. And so it's quite, seems really broad, and like the first number you look at, you're like, oh, wow. But it is a very realistic view of how much it costs to get that customer and to get that deal. And you can really look at it lags over time and see how much better you're getting and more efficient and more effective you're getting. It also helps us like bring it down by channel. But definitely one of the biggest challenges is at the beginning is, does everyone agree with the proportion, for example, of customer success you're putting into renewals income? There's different theses. And then as you grow, we had a different view at 10 customers, then we now have 100, and then you want to change it. And when you want to change things, people also get a bit wedded to an idea, or you sold it in quite strongly at the beginning. So I think, we also want to improve. So what we found was a customer that we acquired 3 years ago has now left that organization and now moved to another organization. And we would say the CAC for that deal is pretty low, but actually the first CAC was huge. But now that looks far more profitable now when you say there's 2 customers in that. So we're looking at those challenges of how you make it far more accurate, so we feel more confident to invest in channels that truly are giving us a long lifetime value, and that we can really see the growth in those. So challenges similar, attribution, where do you put the costs, but it helps if you can really see end to end from which is the exact point and which you want to appropriate that cost to, all the way through to growth from there.
Absolutely. Is CAC a metric that you're using? It sounds like you're attaching it to the customers, to maybe each customer that you're acquiring. Is it a metric that's only used for? I know in some companies that it's used only at executive or board level, and so I'm interested. Is that something that you are reporting or bringing all the way down into the people in your marketing team? Are they focused on CAC? Do they think about that versus traditional, maybe different measures of return on marketing investment?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, while it is a board and investor key metric for sure, it actually helps us when we look at things that seem free or cheap. And are they really? So like a free trade show, I mean, it isn't. When you break down to prep, time, team, follow up, and you get a few deals out of it, and you're like, no, the ROI looks great, but it's terrible in terms of time and productivity. So that, yeah, and it makes people make better decisions if everyone's aware of all those costs. And I think as well, things like at the beginning, we were looking at PPC. I mean, similar to you, Tom, it's this research phase. It doesn't always seem that valuable, but if you could automate a couple of the processes, actually suddenly you can find that gold nugget in a whole river of stones, and it suddenly becomes a little bit more cost effective than maybe a true ROI cost would have given it. So yeah, I feel strongly passionate about trying to make your CAC as accurate as possible by channel, and if you can do it by customer, even better. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking a couple of companies ago, we did, in especially our events, we did burden we still called it return on investment, but we took out the M for marketing because we did burden the cost of getting, live events, of getting salespeople there, the flights, right? We just plugged in even time into that so that we could get what you're describing as the true cost of acquisition for those events, and it was pretty important for us.